I can't wait for the sequel of Evil Neighbor. That movie was simply amazing. It had just the right combination of horror and suspense. Oh look, that cat outside is stretching under the sun. I want a cat. Hey, stop staring outside the window and pay attention in class, shouted Miss Yasmin. I blinked once, bringing myself back to reality. I didn't realize I'd completely zoned out. I get it, you don't like biology, but at least try and listen to what I'm teaching instead of visibly disregarding it. I'm really sorry, miss. It won't happen again, I said. Miss Yasmin didn't look convinced, but continued with the lecture. I looked to my right and saw that Maureen sitting in the front row was glaring at me. I gave her an apologetic signal, after which she rolled her eyes and resumed making notes about the topic we were studying. Whew, that was a close one. I need to be careful the next time, or else Miss Yasmin will definitely kick me out. Double biology lessons really sucked. After this lesson, I had to endure another 50 minutes of this. Just great. Akib, since you enjoy biology so much, I want you to go to the school storage room and bring the anatomical model. We will be studying blood circulation next, so a physical representation will help better understand the topic, said Miss Yasmin. Getting away from the class for even a few minutes would be heavenly. I immediately agreed and got up. Also, please be back within 10 minutes. You know what'll happen if I find out you were wandering around, do you? Of course, miss, I would never dream of doing such a thing, I said. Extra biology lessons as a punishment were the last thing I needed. I exited the class and made my way towards the school storage room. The school had made a giant room at the end of the building as its storage room. There was only one window in that room, and a small bulb was the only source of illumination. Naturally, students started rumors that the storage room was haunted and claimed to see objects moving on their own. Did I believe those rumors? Heck no. But it would be really cool to witness something like that with my own eyes. In no time at all, I reached the storage room. I opened the door and went in. The smell of the old furniture entered my nose. I took in my surroundings and had only one thought. The storage room was a complete mess. Boxes upon boxes were lined in the center and against the walls. Old chairs and desks were also stacked up all around the room. Now, how am I supposed to find that model in all this junk? I turned on the bulb and started to look around. Fortunately, the model was pretty easy to find. Looks like it was used frequently, so it was kept in the right corner of the room. I picked it up and placed it near the doorway. I checked my watch and saw that I still had about 5 minutes before I was expected to return. I decided to kill some time before I went back. I went deeper into the room and found some of the props used in the school play. I picked up a giant witch hat and put it on. Sweet. A sign at the far end of the room caught my eye. It read, "To be disposed of." Below that were several wooden chests. I took the hat off and went to that spot. I was really curious to see what was inside them. However, all of them were locked. I was about to head back when I noticed a box at the bottom had no lock on it. I carefully set aside the chests on top and opened the box. I almost screamed at what I saw. In the box lay a body of a person, and it looked like it had been skinned. Under the faint light of the bulb, I could see the organs of that person. The school had hidden a body in the storage room, and nobody knew about this. Okay, calm down, Akib, and think. If a body is hidden in here, surely the smell of its decay would alert everyone. Wait, there was no smell coming from this body. I took another look at it and wanted to punch myself. It was just another anatomical model. I sighed in relief and closed the box. I really am an idiot. Well, Miss Yasmin is going to love this present, I said to the closed box. This model also looked to be much bigger than the one I found earlier. I tried picking up the box and almost dropped it. It almost weighed like 10 kilos. I didn't expect a plastic model to weigh that much. I picked it up once again and carried it back to class. You took your time, Akib. I hope you didn't get lost, said Miss Yasmin sarcastically. Well, miss, I got you a present, I said while opening the box. Where did you find this? I didn't know the school brought in new supplies, said a curious Miss Yasmin. It was in the back collecting dust, so I thought it would be better to use it. That's very thoughtful of you, Akib, but can you tell me what's wrong with this model? I'm sure one look at it and you can tell why it was in the back collecting dust, said Miss Yasmin. I looked at the model closely this time and saw the issue. Where the heart should have been was just an empty space. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Maureen, who had put her hand on her forehead and was shaking her head. Hey, there wasn't that much light in the room. At least show me some support here. Anyhow, we will have to make do with this model, else we'll waste more time. Since you brought it, Akib, you might as well help with this, said Miss Yasmin. I took out the model from the box and stood it on the stand that accompanied it. All right, Akib, I want you to put your fist in front where the heart should have been and open and close it to depict the beating of a heart. I did as I was told. It was embarrassing with all my classmates staring at me, but I endured it. Miss Yasmin continued explaining about blood flow, but I was too focused on the movement of my hand to pay attention to the lecture. My hand made contact with the heart cavity and I could feel the heat coming from it. Wait, heat? My hand touched the same spot again, and sure enough, it was warm, similar to that of a human body. Instinctively, I looked at the model and found that it was staring at me. Its head was in the same position as I said it, but its eyes had moved. I took a step back and blinked, making sure I was not seeing things. The eyes had returned to their original position. I looked around to see if someone in class had noticed, but from the looks of it, they didn't. They were all busy noting down the lecture. I put my hand near the heart region of the model, and it was still warm, but it had cooled down from before. The lecture went on without any further incident, and I kept looking back at the model from time to time just to be certain I wasn't seeing things. At the end of the lesson, Miss Yasmin picked up the model and exited the class. Finally, the class ended. I would need to copy Maureen's notes since I didn't write down a single thing. I noted that Miss Yasmin had forgotten the box in which the model was stored and simply just left it. I picked up the box and went to the storage room. If I can't do well in biology, I might as well try to appear helpful in her eyes so that she can give me extra marks. The door of the storage room was open. I went to turn on the light bulb, but it didn't work. I thought to leave the box near the entrance, but I got interrupted by the sound of footsteps just ahead. There were boxes and chairs stacked in front of me, and the little sunlight that entered the window didn't help me see any better. I went around the blockage and was greeted by a horrific sight. Miss Yasmin lay against the wall with a giant hole in her chest. Blood was coming up from the hole and was pooled up around her. In front of me, with its back towards me, stood the anatomical model holding what I assumed to be Miss Yasmin's heart. It tried to fit the heart in the cavity in its chest, but the heart was much bigger. It tried to shove the heart in forcefully, but it exploded and the blood leaked out. I was completely stunned by what I was seeing. I slowly stepped back, but then my back hit the stacked stairs and it made a loud creaking noise. The model's head turned around completely and looked straight at me. Its body then turned around and I realized it was the same height as me. The model threw Miss Yasmin's heart in a corner and then charged at me. I didn't even have time to react. It grabbed me by the collar of my shirt and lifted me. For a plastic model, it was insanely strong. It then threw me at the back of the wall. I crashed into some boxes and my back hit a gas pipe. Pain shot up my body and felt my left arm going numb. The gas pipe had broken and I could smell the gas leaking into the room. The model was slowly walking towards me, almost like it was mocking me. I had to do something. If this thing left this room, who knows what it might do? I got up, trying to ignore the pain, and noticed a box of matches near my feet. I had an idea. A crazy one, that is to say. I picked up the matches and jumped to my right as the model charged into where I was just a second ago. As the model tried to get up, I lit a match and threw it at the leaking gas pipe. A huge ball of fire engulfed the room. I dived behind the stack of chairs, but the explosion sent me flying back. Before blacking out, I looked towards the direction of the model and saw that it lay motionless on the ground. Before blacking out, I looked towards the direction of the model and saw that it lay motionless on the ground. The next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital. My family was there, and seeing me wake up, they immediately called the doctor. From the looks of it, my legs got heavy burns from the fire. However, it wasn't too serious. A few policemen also came in to ask some questions, but I wasn't able to concentrate on their questions as something was bugging me. The anatomical model was in the pile of boxes that were to be disposed of. My only question is, what was inside the boxes that were locked?